Good morning. It's January 21st. I'm back. I lost a couple of days this week because of bad weather. It was still extreme cold yesterday, and I just didn't have enough reason to get out, so I didn't. Quite a bit warmer today, but getting colder. It's been a weird day. Yesterday it was, minus 20 something when we got up. Extreme cold. When I got up this morning, it was +1, or just above freezing, and it's supposed to drop to minus 19 as the day goes along. It's now -3 and dropping, and a pretty good wind blowing, 48 kilometers an hour last time I checked. So it's Friday, going around the lake. I've got the external mic on here. Hopefully it stays connected, and I'll just don't know. I have no idea why. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. The gimbal is already acting weird. I don't know what that's all about. It can't be cold. It's not that cold. A little bit of fresh snow. I'll have to shovel a little bit when I get home. Try to get back to a more daily walk if we get more normal temperatures. Also, I must apologize for the walk 2 days ago. It wasn't until I got home that I realized it had been out of focus the entire time. It's because I started inside, I think, and focused on something inside, and it never adjusted when I got outside, so. I've been doing lots of publishing stuff the last couple of days. Shadowpaw Press, my publishing company. I'm considering doing something through what's called the Reprise imprint. I've now called it that, which is for reprints, and offering other authors the opportunity to have their out-of-print work for which the rights have reverted, published through Shadowpaw Press for a minimal cost, with most of my income would then come from taking a share of whatever sales they get on those reprinted works. I don't see any way I can lose money on that. Whether I make much or not, to make up for the amount of time it will take, I don't know. But I'm exploring the possibility. I'm reviewing the situation. Can a fellow be a villain all his life? A little bit of Oliver there. Fagin's song. All the trials and tribulations, better settle down and get myself a wife. And a wife would cook and go for me and go for me and come for me and come for me and go for me. That's not quite right. Go for me and come for me and go for me. Anyway. I actually know the song pretty well, I thought. But that started in a bad line, so it didn't carry on. Never played Fagin. I played Bumble twice. In fact, that's the only part I've ever played in Oliver. Well, except, of course, I played Bumble, but I was also, part of the crowd in the pub scenes and things like that. Ooh. First time I haven't walked around in the dark for a while. Thought it might make a nice change, but it's not a very sunny day. There's a hint of blue above me, but maybe that's an illusion. Maybe that's just the color of the clouds. We'll see how windy it is once I get around the lake. It doesn't seem that windy down here. But I'm sure we'll feel it when we're exposed. Oh, there, see? It's just as I said that. I got a blast of wind. It's one reason I hope the external mic keeps working, because it cuts down on the wind noise. money she will take from me, a misery she'll make from me. I think I'd better think it out again. That's how it goes. A life you can keep anyway. I'd rather sleep anyway. Not without anyone in the world, then I'm starting from now. So how to win friends and to influence people. So how? It's hard to stop once you get started. I'm reviewing the situation. I must quickly look up everyone I know. Titled people with a station who can help me make a real impressive show. I will own a suite at carriages and run a fleet of carriages and wave of all the duchesses with friendliness as much as is befitting of my new estate. Oh, this is still covered in frost. Look at that. Looks like it's been painted over with whitewash, but it's really just frost. But again, it was cold and now it's warmed up again, so it's kind of the same thing as the last time I walked through here. Oh, who's there? Bran. I think I'm reading that right. Happy Friday to you too. All right, here's the lake. There's the flags to show you the wind. I've seen them flip more than that. We'll go clockwise today. Little flashback to the beginning of the pandemic when they had the ridiculous idea that making people all walk the same way around the lake was somehow going to reduce the risk of infection. It was insane. But then a lot of the restrictions have been insane. Just governments trying to make stuff up that makes it look like they're doing something. Lake is still very, very frozen. It did shoot up to above freezing overnight, but it's already dropping. Long range forecast is up and down, and then settles back down into sort of more normal temperatures. And normal is, a high of minus 12 or something. So, pretty cold. Not nearly as bundled up as I was on the minus 27 day. Just got a toque in my regular gloves as opposed to my heavy duty gloves, and I don't have my hood up and don't have a scarf or all of that stuff. Almost came out in just my leather jacket, but the wind chill was high enough I realized that would probably be a bit under what I wanted. Yes, that's it. A wife would cook and sew for me and come for me and go for me and nag at me. The finger she would wag at me, the money she would take from me, a misery she'd make from me. I think I'd better think it out again. There you go. Just had to correct that because I screwed it up earlier. Of course, now that song's stuck in my head. Oliver was the first musical I was ever in high school. We did a abbreviated version of it. Just the musical numbers, no dialogue. Somehow we had the notion that the musical numbers were the easy part, and the dialogue was the hard part. And of course, the musical numbers are the hardest to stage. And once you've done those, you might as well do the dialogue bits. But I don't know, we didn't. I don't think we had a script, for one thing. I think we just learned the songs out of a piano book of songs from Oliver. Based everything on the movie. Probably didn't even have the rights to do a stage production. It was a long time ago. There was no YouTube. Nobody was going to find out. I don't know if anybody thought about it. I was just a kid. It wasn't my responsibility, but I've wondered that since. I was like 15 playing Bumble. One boy for sale, he's going cheap. That one, that's his song. That in Oliver, never before has a boy wanted more. Oliver, won't ask for more when he knows what's in store. That's his other song. I think I was only in grade 10. I might have been in grade 11. But in grade 11 I was 15, so I was 16 when I graduated from high school. Turned 17 the following month. Graduated from university at age 20. Thrust into the workforce as a newspaper reporter and photographer. 4 years after that, at the ripe old age of 24, I was the news editor of the Weyburn Review, a position I held for 4 years, before moving to Regina as communications officer for the Saskatchewan Science Centre, which I've walked by on occasion. It's also on the lake, but not this part of it. And then in '93, I quit my job, became a full-time freelancer, and have been one ever since. So coming up on 30 years of being self-employed, with a few months here and there of contract work where I actually had to go to an office. But the last time I did that was in the 90s, so I haven't even done that for a long time. Which is why I'm free to walk around the lake at 10 o'clock in the morning. Singing show tunes, or at least Oliver tunes. Oliver was always one of my favorite musicals. Mark Lester, who played Oliver, was just a little older than I was, so I identified with him. He was born in 58, I was born in 59. Only recently did I find out his singing voice was dubbed by a girl in the movie. They said nothing like that in the liner notes to the album, which I had. They said he had the voice of an angel. I guess they didn't technically say that he sang. They just said he had the voice of an angel. I think it was the director's daughter that actually sang Oliver's solo bits. I mean, he said his own dialogue, but I already knew. He did a few other shows as a kid and then quit the profession and became some sort of, no, it's not a podiatrist, I don't know, some sort of medical type. Alternative medicine, I think, though, if I remember right, but osteopath? That doesn't sound right either. So, he's 63 now, since I'm 62, wherever he is. There's Willow Island, and of course, as I like to point out, this little patch of the lake is where my young adult fantasy series, Shards of Excalibur, begins, when the Lady of the Lake from King Arthur shows up right there. It's not frozen at the time, and my main character sees a staircase going down into the water and hears singing, and she follows it. And then Wally Knight, who just happens to be passing, follows her down, and that's how my two kids get together and get the quest to find the scattered shards of Arthur's sword Excalibur before Merlin can. And Merlin's the bad guy in the series. He's like a Bill Gates, Steve Jobs computer guy. Morning. And over the course of the 5 books, the kids travel around the world looking for the 5 shards of Excalibur. With the big climax right here in Saskatchewan, Cannington Manor. You should read those books. I highly recommend them. They're only on Amazon at the moment. In ebook and print. I have to decide if I want to go ahead with a relaunch on Amazon to see if I can scare up more readers that way. Or, since they are through Shadowpaw Press, if I put them out wide again. Theoretically, I could sell a considerable number on Amazon if I did everything right and if there was any interest. I just haven't. I mean, I've been meaning to do that since what? October? November? And I still haven't gotten around to it. Danger, thin ice. I really don't think so at the moment. Doesn't look very thin. I'll leave her. Never before has a boy wanted more. I'll leave her. Won't ask for more when he knows what's in store. There's a long, thin, winding stairway without any banister. Staircase, I think. Which will throw him down and feed him on cockroaches served in a canister. I'll leave her. I'll leave her. What will he do when he's turned black and blue? He will rue the day somebody named him Oliver. There you go. Now let's see if I get a copyright hit for that when YouTube checks it over. The ledge, of course, is always over there, lurking in the shadows, so to speak. Morning. So far, the external mic seems to have stayed connected, so that's good. Usually about the time I say that, it disconnects, but so far so good. It's not really lurking in the shadows, but it's lurking on the other side of the lake. Certainly quite a bit of wind right here, but it's not too horrible. Temperature being what it is. There's still a patch out there. Is it actually open water? How could it possibly remain open? And there's birds in it. Those are desperate birds. They thought that staying here over the winter was better than migrating. There they are. There's a few of them. Maybe the patch stays open simply because the birds stay in it. I don't know. It's probably slush more than open water. Now, let's see what the path looks like down by the lake, or if I'm going to go straight again here. Depends on if this has been cleared or not recently. Probably okay. Okay, we'll go down this way today. Take a look at those idiotic birds that have stayed here over the winter. Huh. Has the bridge been cleared? Doesn't look like it. It looks like a huge pile of snow on the footbridge. Maybe it's piled up on either side of a path. I can't quite tell. Oh no, I'm looking I'm looking just shy of the footbridge. You see? Silly birds. And yet, here they are, despite it having been, minus 30, minus 40. So far, they're still with us. Right there. And there is open water there. I don't understand how that stays open, unless it is from the birds hanging out in it. There's the wind coming from the northwest. Quite sharp, even though it is relatively warm. But I think the wind chill was minus 13 or minus 15 or something. So, not exactly warm. Oh, there goes some flying in to land. Those are ducks. Well, that's their choice, I guess. They didn't ask me. I thought it was a good idea for them to stay over winter. I suppose if they survive, they get a head start on everybody else in the spring, making nests and eggs. If they survive, I would be interested to know what the attrition rate is for birds that try to overwinter. Wonder if anybody knows. I don't know what the attrition rate is for humans who have to overwinter. So far I've made it for 60. I've never been in a warm place over Christmas. So closest I came was being in New York. That was just after Christmas. And that's still not exactly, tropic. Although it was pretty warm by our standards. So I guess I just had my 62nd Christmas. 63rd Christmas. Right, 63rd. Because the one that happens when you're 1 year old is actually your second one. So now, not all 63 of those were in Saskatchewan, because up until I was 8, lived in Texas and New Mexico before that. So I guess subtract 9 means I've had just over half a century of consecutive Saskatchewan winters. Ugh, I don't like putting it in century terms, but still, that's the case. And in a few more years, I'll be 2/3 of a century old. Oh well, I'm aiming to make a full century. I'm aiming to be walking around the lake on my 100th birthday. There you go. There's something to aim for. In as much as it depends on me, which unfortunately it doesn't too much. It's the Bar Willow restaurant. You can eat on the deck even in the winter. They have tents with heaters in them. I've heard it's not too bad. Probably not on a, minus 40 day, but on a day like today, I'm sure you could be quite comfortable in there. You wouldn't be shirt sleeves, but comfortable enough. Marina, no boats, obviously. Oh, Snowblower going there. quite sure why. I guess it's just broadening the path there. In case you've never seen that, he's not a snowblower. He's I guess you'd call him a scrubber. Clearing the path. And the snow does pile up in the parking lots. It's taller than me now by quite a bit. I'm 6'2". That's at least 10 feet tall, maybe a bit more. 3 or 4 meters if you prefer Celsius. Clearly he's just been down here because this looks freshly scrubbed. View of the lake. Sometime soon I'll walk on the other side over here and walk up to the university and around, maybe next week. I thought I might do it this week, but I had too many bad weather days. Ooh, this is icy. It's almost too icy to climb. That's from it having melted and then frozen so quickly. Scrubbing it probably made it slipperier. That's all covered in a thin layer of ice. You can't really see it, but you can sure feel it. So, oh! That wasn't even bare. That was on snow. I thought it'd be okay, but it had a layer of ice on it too. Almost got me. That would have been a bad fall onto bare concrete. Okay. They've made it, by polishing it, they've actually made it slipperier, I think. Oh, who's that? Madeline, hi. In Victoria. Yeah, I think that has to be why there's still an open patch there. It has to be the birds hanging out in it and managed to keep it from freezing. As I understand it, ducks, unless they're getting fed, and a lot of these, as I've walked through them before at the end of the parking lot down here, people do feed the birds over the winter. Because otherwise, as I understand it, ducks have to have open water because they feed off the bottom, whereas geese don't have to have open water because they pluck grass if they can find a spot. Or wheat from a farmer's field that's left on the ground, or things like that. We'll see how many are still hanging out at the end of the parking lot down here. Well, now the wind's found me, blowing across the lake from the northwest. Blue sky over there. Blue skies, at me. Not quite the right song yet. Nothing but blue skies do I see, because that's the only patch of blue I see. Yeah, the clouds are kind of thin overhead too, so. Well, it's getting colder. It's also supposed to snow though. Overnight, and so I thought we're supposed to get 10 centimeters over the weekend. Yeah, there's the wind. Refreshing. Wakes you up. Wake me up before I freeze. Don't leave me hanging around till I see you sneeze. Wake me up before I freeze. nothing really rhymes with warm. Farm is a visual rhyme, but not a pronounced rhyme. Quorum, if you slur it just right, I suppose. Hard to work that one into a song, though. Grief, my coat has come completely unzipped while I was walking. How'd that happen? Don't know what that did to my sound. I didn't realize. Somehow the zipper just worked its way down. It's never done that before. Fortunately, I had a scarf on. I wondered why my chest was getting cold. Oh yeah, as I said, I think they mostly are relying on handouts down here at this end of the bridge. Look at them all. Geese and ducks together. They try not to move any more than they have to, but yeah, people have been throwing food here, so it's quite surprising. Oh, there's pigeons there too. Very glad I decided to go with the parka now that I've got the wind blowing on me unimpeded. I almost put my hood up there, but I'll be in shelter again here in a minute. It's the surveyor's monument there. The land surveyors. I wrote their history book, Saskatchewan Land Surveyors Association. Makes a big difference having that little bit of a windbreak there. Actually quite surprised that the mic has stayed on. I just don't know what triggers those sudden failures of the external mic. Can't make any head or tail out of it. Head nor tail out of it. Can't make head nor tail. Proper expression. Few more people in the slightly warmer temperature, also later in the day. haven't seen any dogs though. Will this be that rarest of all things? Nobody walking a dog for the entire walk? I don't know if it's ever happened. Not more than once or twice if it has. There's a ledge, always there, somewhere. I should look up at the height of the dome. It's quite tall. As I mentioned before, not that long ago, they redid the dome and resheathed it with new copper. So for a while, it shone like a new penny. But over time, a few months, oxidation returned it to its normal dark blackish green or greenish black. Probably greenish black. In some climates, like in Ottawa, the copper roofs remain a quite noticeable green, but in our climate they turn more black. There's Pine Island, no sorry, Spruce Island over there. Three islands, willow, pine, and spruce. Spruce is the undeveloped one, intended mostly as a wildlife bird sanctuary. I suppose there could be some muskrats or something over there too. No large wildlife. Raccoons. Probably badgers in the park, I don't know for sure. Never seen one. Skunks, potentially. Various small ground mammals. But they're mostly hibernating or estivating this time of year. And in the winter, in the spring, of course, it's an island, so ledges over there. That's the Holodomor Memorial, marking the Stalin's genocide against Ukrainians, forced starvation. We have a large Ukrainian population. And of course, Russians are threatening Ukraine again right now. So it's that saying, history may not repeat, but sometimes it rhymes. Oh look, Comment Bot has found me. Tennis courts over there. Not a lot of tennis going on right now. Outdoor tennis. I'm sure they're playing it in the big gyms. Father's Furniture Gallery, says the truck. My dad actually refurbished furniture in his day. In fact, my chest of drawers is one that he redid. You know, it had, I don't know, ugly old paint on it, and he stripped it off and had this beautiful wood underneath. It's quite lovely. The doors don't work all that great. They don't have modern runners in them, so it's just wood on wood, but still, it's nice to have, and remember that he did that. My mom had it for her chest of drawers for the rest of her life, and then once she was gone and things were divided up, it came to me. He also redid a couple of rocking chairs. Other members of the family have those. And a sideboard too. I'm not sure who has that. But again, somebody in the family has it. There's the east elevation of the legislative building. There's Willow Island over there. And looking back the way we came across the lake. I'll stick to the lakeshore this time. Sometimes I walk by the ledge, but not today. Go down here and take a look at the skating rink they built on the ice. They look like they were kind of finishing that up last Friday when I walked around. I haven't seen it since it was kind of completed. We'll see it here momentarily. That's downtown, of course, over there, that direction. Right now we're looking straight downtown. How slippery this is compared to the bridge. That's pretty slippery. Krista? No, it's not snowing here at the moment. It's in the forecast, but it's not doing it at the moment. They said snow flurries all day. And more snow over the weekend. Last time I looked, there's supposed to be 10 centimeters or something over the weekend. We've had a little bit of fresh snow overnight, or else it just blew. It's hard to tell. But I'll have to scrape off the sidewalk when I get home. It's downtown. if there's anybody on the rink up here. Doesn't look like it. I presume this is the warming shed. You put on your skates, and there's the rink. Oh, it's slippery along there. Quite empty at the moment. I think they've got lights on it and everything. Yeah, temporary lights because they're on the ice. I wish I skated, but I pretty much gave it up years ago. Too painful. Almost slipped again. And of course here's the bridge, and then we'll go under the bridge and we'll be home in a few minutes. Well, I will. Don't know about you. And the external mic. Oh look, my coat has unzipped itself again. Guess I'm gonna have to start buttoning up that top button. Never done that before until this walk. I don't know what brought that on. It is an old coat. I should get a new winter coat maybe for next winter. There's the nice sign. This is where the actual dam is that makes the lake. Not that any water is moving through it now. In the spring there's often pelicans on the other side in the open water, but no open water now. There's our passageway under the bridge. So we will leave the lake right up here when I turn the corner. I suspect it will look pretty much the same next Friday. It'll be a while before we see any seasonal changes. There's Speaker's Corner, We're going this way, back through the frost-encrusted murals. So we had a long stretch of cold weather, and more this week. So the stone gets really cold, and then when it warms up a bit, the moisture in the air condenses out and makes everything here look washed out underneath the frost. Now, hope that didn't mess up the focus. I'll tap the screen again when I get up here in the open just to make sure. You can see it's been warm because the street is a bit melty. All right. Confused the gimbal there. I was putting my glove back on. Not very successfully either. Sidewalk sort of clear. Not really. Just a couple of more blocks to home. Home sweet home. There's no place like home. If I could just tap my ruby slippers together, that would take me home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Oh, Auntie M, and you were there, and now there's a part I'll never play. Dorothy. I could play the wizard. That's about it at this stage. Probably too old for the Scarecrow or the Tin Man. Maybe the Cowardly Lion with sufficient makeup, depending on how much choreography they wanted. I suppose that's true of Straw Man and the Tin Man too. Scarecrow. Anyway, seems unlikely I'll get the opportunity. There are a couple of auditions coming up. I might audition for Little Theatre's next play, and I think I'll audition for Little Women that Regina Lake Musical Theatre is doing. Again, there's really only one part I can play in Little Women. The play has a part for someone right about my age, so there's that. Might depend if they want the struggle of working with me, because being a member of Canadian Actors Equity, there's a lot of paperwork to go through to hire me or to use me in a amateur production, plus some cost that you don't have for a non-professional. They don't have to pay me per se, or it's an honorarium, but they do have to pay a certain amount of money into my retirement fund, equity retirement fund, which, believe me, I will not be retiring on. I've already taken most of it out over the years. It wasn't very much. My professional gigs are few and far between, and so I don't make a focus on it. Focus of it, focus on it. I don't focus on it. I always feel like I have to correct my grammar because I'm an editor and publisher and writer. I have to set a good example. Why can't the English teach their children how to speak? Applies to Canadians too. And Americans Americans. As the line goes, there even are places where English completely disappears. In America, they haven't used it for years. Oh, where's my car? It's parked in the back. Has not been stolen. Okay, we will stop here. So, thanks for walking with me. And I will be back. Bye for now.